The RMS Titanic, a symbol of human ingenuity, luxury, and tragic disaster. This is the comprehensive story of the Titanic, from its inception to its ill-fated maiden voyage. The idea of the Titanic was born in the early 1900s, a time when the transatlantic travel market was highly competitive. J. Bruce Ismay, the chairman of the White Star Line, envisioned a ship that would not only be the largest, but also the most luxurious ocean liner in the world. In 1907, over a dinner conversation with Lord Pirrie of Harland and Wolff Shipyard, the concept of three massive ships, Olympic, Titanic and Britannic, was conceived. These ships were intended to outdo their rivals in size and opulence, if not speed. Construction of the Titanic began on March 31, 1909, at the Harland and Wolff Shipyard in Belfast, Ireland. The ship was designed by Thomas Andrews, the chief naval architect at Harland and Wolff. Over 3,000 workers, including skilled shipbuilders, electricians, plumbers, carpenters and labourers, dedicated 2 years to building the Titanic. The ship's design featured 16 watertight compartments, which were believed to make it unsinkable. The primary materials used included 26,000 tons of steel and over 3 million rivets. The hull plating was held together by these rivets, each driven into place by teams of workers using hydraulic machines. The technology of the time, including the use of the Arrow gantry, a massive steel structure used to support the ship during construction, was cutting edge. The Titanic's construction was a colossal undertaking. Workers toiled day and night in the Harland and Wolff shipyard. The keel, the backbone of the ship, was laid on March 31, 1909. For over 2 years, the shipyard was a hive of activity, with thousands of men working on the ship in shifts. The interior of the Titanic was designed to be the epitome of luxury. It featured a grand staircase, fine dining rooms, a swimming pool, a squash court, and Turkish baths. First-class cabins were fitted with the finest materials, including wood paneling, marble sinks, and plush carpets. On May 31, 1911, the Titanic was launched into the River Lagan. The launch attracted thousands of spectators and was a moment of great pride for everyone involved. However, this was just the hull. The fitting out process, which involved installing the engines, interiors and all the fittings, took nearly another year. By April 2, 1912, the Titanic was ready for her sea trials. The trials, which took place in Belfast Lough, involved testing the ship's speed, manoeuvrability and safety features. After successful trials, the Titanic was declared seaworthy and prepared for her maiden voyage. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic set sail from Southampton, England, bound for New York City. Captain Edward John Smith, a seasoned and respected mariner, was at the helm. The Titanic carried 2,224 passengers and crew, a mix of the world's wealthiest individuals and immigrants seeking a new life in America. The ship made stops in Cherbourg, France and Queenstown, now Cove, Ireland, to pick up additional passengers before heading out into the open Atlantic. The passengers aboard the Titanic were a diverse group. In first class, there were some of the wealthiest and most influential people of the time, including John Jacob Astor IV, Isidor Straus and Benjamin Guggenheim. These passengers enjoyed luxurious amenities and opulent surroundings. Second-class passengers included professionals, clergymen and tourists, while third class, or steerage, was filled with immigrants hoping to start new lives in America. The crew, numbering around 900, included officers, engineers, deckhands and stewards, all essential to the operation and service of the ship. The Titanic was not only a marvel of engineering, but also a floating palace. It was 882 feet long, 92 feet wide, and weighed over 46,000 tons. The ship boasted state-of-the-art technologies, such as an advanced electrical system, 3 main engines, 2 reciprocating 4-cylinder, triple-expansion steam engines, and 1 centrally located low-pressure Parsons turbine, and 29 boilers. The grand staircase, also known as the first-class entrance, was one of the ship's most iconic features. It was an opulent space with a domed skylight, ornate woodwork, and an elegant clock. First-class passengers enjoyed gourmet meals prepared by top chefs in the lavish dining saloon, and they had access to exclusive areas like the smoking room, reading and writing room, and the veranda cafe. Atlantic was smooth until the night of April 14, 1912. Despite receiving multiple iceberg warnings, the ship maintained its speed. At 11:40 p.m, lookout Frederick Fleet spotted an iceberg directly in the ship's path and alerted the bridge. First Officer William Murdoch ordered the ship to turn hard to starboard and the engines to be reversed. But it was too late. The Titanic struck the iceberg on its starboard side, causing a series of holes below the waterline. The impact was not a single catastrophic rupture, but rather a series of punctures along the hull, compromising the watertight compartments. The design flaw of the bulkheads, which did not extend high enough, allowed water to spill over from one compartment to the next. The iceberg collision caused the Titanic's watertight compartments to flood. Despite being designed to stay afloat with up to 4 compartments breached, the ship's design could not withstand the flooding of 6 compartments. The Titanic's fate was sealed. Captain Smith and the crew quickly realized the severity of the situation. At 12:15 a.m, distress signals were sent out, but the closest ship, the RMS Carpathia, was over 3 hours away. The Titanic carried 20 lifeboats, enough for only about half of those on board due to outdated maritime safety regulations. Chaos and confusion ensued as passengers and crew tried to launch the lifeboats. Many boats left half full, as people were reluctant to believe the ship would sink. By 2:20 a.m. on April 15, 1912, the Titanic broke apart and sank into the icy waters of the North Atlantic. Of the 2,224 people on board, only 710 survived. The majority of those who perished either drowned or succumbed to hypothermia in the freezing water. The RMS Carpathia arrived at approximately 4 a.m. and began rescuing the survivors from the lifeboats. The sinking of the Titanic remains one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history, with over 1,500 lives lost. The sinking of the Titanic had a profound impact on maritime regulations and safety standards. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, was established in 1914 to improve safety at sea, including requirements for sufficient lifeboats for all passengers, lifeboat drills, and 24-hour radio watch. The Titanic's wreck was discovered on September 1, 1985, by a team led by Robert Ballard. This discovery renewed public interest in the Titanic and led to numerous explorations and documentaries. Today, the Titanic remains a powerful symbol of human ambition and the fragility of life. Its story is a reminder of the importance of safety, preparedness, and respect for nature's forces. The Titanic's story has permeated popular culture in numerous ways. The ship has been the subject of countless books, films, and television series. The 1997 film Titanic, directed by James Cameron, brought the story to a new generation, becoming one of the highest-grossing films of all time. Museums and exhibitions around the world display artifacts recovered from the wreck, allowing people to connect with the history on a personal level. Among the passengers were countless stories of heroism, sacrifice, and tragedy. Margaret "Molly" Brown, famously known as the unsinkable Molly Brown, helped to row and encourage people in her lifeboat. The band, led by Wallace Hartley, continued to play music as the ship sank, providing some comfort to those facing the disaster. The stories of the Titanic's passengers and crew have been preserved through survivor testimonies and historical records, ensuring that their experiences are not forgotten. There are many lesser-known aspects of the Titanic story that add depth to its narrative. For instance, the Titanic had 2 sister ships, the Olympic and the Britannic. The Olympic had a long and successful career, while the Britannic, converted into a hospital ship during World War I, was sunk by a mine in the Aegean Sea. Another intriguing detail is the story of the SS Californian, a ship that was nearby when the Titanic sent out distress signals. The Californian's radio operator had gone off duty, and despite seeing distress rockets, the crew did not realize the gravity of the situation in time to assist. The ship's cat, Jenny, who had her kittens just before the maiden voyage, is also part of the Titanic's lore. She and her kittens disembarked at Southampton and did not sail with the Titanic, avoiding the tragedy. The RMS Titanic story is one of triumph and tragedy. From its grand conception to its heartbreaking end, the Titanic continues to captivate and teach us valuable lessons. Its legacy lives on in the improvements in maritime safety, the cultural depictions, and the personal stories of those who experienced its fateful voyage. Thank you for joining us on this detailed journey through the life of the Titanic. This documentary was brought to you by Astute Go. Please like, subscribe, and share to ensure more stories like the Titanic's are brought to life. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more historical journeys with you.